Hey guys, so the new summonable characters for the Heroes collab are now up. The details for them are up. We have a lot of tabs pulled up here just because the way that Global does this is they put each, I guess, section of the character as a separate image. So we'll be able to go through all these. I should have them all pulled up in the right order, have them all like zoomed in and stuff. So we'll go through, I think there's 5 characters in total. So we'll start with Goku and then we'll see what we got here. So this is going to be Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku, Universe Tree Power. It's a very long name. So his leader skill is Dragon Ball Heroes, Kamehameha, or Power Beyond Super Saiyan, 3 key 170. And then the extra 30% is to crossover, which is kind of similar to how they did this last year. Remember with Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Vegito, he also had, I think, crossover as the additional 30%. All right, let's take a look at his passive. The possibilities of this universe activates the entrance animation upon the character's entry once only. Defense plus 200% and launches an additional super attack for 4 turns from the character's entry turn. 4 turns. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. 2 key attack and defense plus 150%. That's baseline, and he gets an additional attack plus 150% when attacking. All right. Additional defense plus 40% with each attack performed, up to 200%. Okay, so he's got a lot of defense with the intro active. Launch an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack and randomly changes keys versus a certain type, STR excluded to STR, when there are 3 or more crossover category allies or an ally whose name includes Zeno on the team. Okay, so either you're restricted to running him on a crossover team if you want to get the additional super and orb changing, or you got to run someone who has Zeno in their name, which is already going to be a crossover character anyway. Plus an additional attack, plus 50% for the rest of battle, and great chance of guarding all attacks. Great chance of guarding all attacks within the same turn. We can, let me just see here. Within the same turn with 3 or more key spheres obtained. Okay. So 3 key spheres. I actually don't know how this works. Plus an additional attack plus 50% for the rest of battle. Right, so the 50% attack is up for the rest of the battle. But the great chance to guard is only for the same turn. So I guess what I don't know for sure, I mean, I don't know if you guys would know either. This is something I don't know if we've seen yet. An additional attack plus 50% for the rest of the battle. Is that just every single time he gets 3 key spheres? He's just getting 50% attack permanently? Every single time he gets 3 key spheres per turn, he's getting 50% attack. That doesn't say once only. So I don't know if that's like an infinite amount of times you can activate this or not. That would be pretty interesting though. I'm not really a huge fan of having a great chance to guard. Why not just, you know, give him a guaranteed chance to guard? If you have 3 or more key spheres, why make it 70%? Plus an additional attack plus 100% for the rest of battle and guards all attacks in the same turn with 5 or more key spheres obtained. Plus an additional attack plus 150% for the rest of battle with 7 or more key spheres obtained. Plus an additional damage reduction of 40% when guard is activated. Okay, I mean, the fact that they're doing this tells me that this is not something you could repeat, because that would be absurd. Plus an attack, so he's gonna get, so if you get 7 key spheres, he's getting 150, 150. So he's getting 300% attack if you get 7 key spheres. Is I guess what they're saying here. Man, this character would have been so much different if he just had guaranteed guard. I mean, 70% of the time he's still going to have guard up, but getting 40% damage reduction when guard is activated, and imagine like you just don't get the guard up. He's just going to take so much damage. No guard, no damage reduction. Like the fact that the damage reduction is contingent upon the 70% activating. And then on top of that, the fact that he has the intro limited to only 4 turns too with the defense. I mean, what is he going to do? 4 supers, I guess it was what it sounds like here with the hidden potential system. There's a few things that I have issues with here, but overall he seems all right. Active skill is Unyielding Fused Kamehameha. Can be activated when there is an ally whose name includes Zeno attacking in the same turn or starting from the 5th turn from the start of battle. Okay, not a terrible condition. Massively raise attack temporarily. Ultimate damage. Defense plus 30%, and all attacks become crits for 1 turn. Okay, so you don't... I guess you probably wouldn't give this character crit. Kind of sounds like a dodge character. I mean, additional is good. You wouldn't really need to give him too many additionals, though, because he's already going to be doing so many attacks anyway. The super attack is the Extreme Kamehameha. 30% attack and defense for 1 turn. Causes immense damage to enemy and medium chance for... Okay, so he has critical hits built into the super attack effect, too. So yeah, you really don't need to give this guy crit. There's a lot of categories here. Links are Super Saiyan, Kamehameha, Shocking Speed, Warrior Gods, Godly Power. Okay, so he has a pretty standard, like, Blue Goku, God Goku Link set, which could be good. But obviously he's pretty severely restricted. So we'll see. There's a few holes here, for sure. That's not unexpected when it comes to these heroes characters. They generally are not, like, flawlessly designed. There's very obviously, intentionally... holes in these kits, and I imagine that's going to be the case when we look at these other characters here too. All right, let's move on to the next character. This is Fuyu, Doki Doki Fully Absorbed. Okay, so 130% time travel. Okay, so yeah, the only one who's going to have like a real leader skill is going to be the Goku, I guess. Let's just take a look at the links first. Demonic Power, Brainiacs, Cold Judgment, Big Bad Bosses. That's good. Godly Power, Fear and Faith, and Fierce Battle. Pretty good, actually. He should link up pretty well with Slug, right? So with Slug, Big Bad Bosses, Fierce Battle, Demonic Power. I don't think Slug has Brainiacs or Cold Judgment, but that's a pretty solid, like, triple link right there with Slug. All right, let's see. The universe created by Fu. 2 key, 150% attack and defense, plus an additional attack and defense plus 50% and chance of performing a critical hit plus 20% per crossover or time traveler's category ally attacking in the same turn. So another character we don't need to worry about crit for, because assuming you're running him on the full crossover team, which is what you're going to want to be doing probably anyway, he's going to be getting the full 150 and then 60% crit here. I mean, to be fair, I mean, assuming he's not super restricted, again, like I mentioned, you could run him next to Slug and he should be able to work decently well, but that'll be one of these instances you're not going to be... Slug isn't on Time Traveler. Is he? Let me actually confirm this, because they treat the Time Traveler category very weirdly. Let me just see here. I'm pulling up Slug in my game right now. Is he on Time Traveler? No, he's not. He's not on Time Traveler. Okay, so yes, having him next to Slug means that you wouldn't get one instance of that, I guess. All right, so additional attack and defense 100% when performing a super attack. Launched an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack. Okay, 50% chance there. Launches another additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack and reduces damage by 20% when there is another extreme class ally attacking in the same turn, or when there's a super class enemy. Okay, very easy to get. Most of the tough fights in the game right now are super class enemies, and obviously even if you don't have a super class enemy, you can still get this with an extreme class ally, so pretty easy to get that. 70% chance to be a super, and then 20% more damage reduction. It's pretty good. Chance of performing a critical hit plus 20% to 40% and reduces damage by 20% up to 40% within the same turn with each super attack performed. Within the turn. So you can get this guy up to 100% crit if you have this fully built up to 60%, because then you can get 40% here. Yeah, definitely a character you don't really want to give crit to at all. So 40% damage reduction, 20% damage reduction. So after you, assuming he does 2 supers in a turn, you're going to have 60% damage reduction here. High chance of changing all key spheres to AGL and tech key spheres starting from the 5th turn. Once only. High chance of changing all key spheres to AGL and tech. How does that work? How does that... It says all. AGL and tech. So like half of them are going to be AGL, half of them are going to be tech. I don't really know how this works. I guess we'll see. Okay, he seems all right. Super tech effect is greatly raise attack, greatly raise defense. Oh, he's actually stacking attack greatly. I mean, he can do a few supers during the turn. He again, another character that can do, I think, up to 4 supers in a turn. So, I mean, I typically don't think stacking attack infinitely is that great, but when you're talking about greatly stacking, at that point, it probably is pretty noteworthy. So, sure, infinitely greatly stacking attack, greatly raising defense for 1 turn, and then causes supreme damage with a high chance of stunning. Okay, greatly raising defense for 1 turn is also really good here. So, I mean, he should be able to get to a decent level of defense while also having 60% damage reduction. We'll see. We'll see how effective he's going to be. He seems all right. Again, Big Bad Boss's character can be pretty nice with the villains. Again, with Slug. But the only thing with Slug is them basically restricting him to crossover time traveler, which Slug is not. So, Ios. So Ios, this exact card art of Ios is like a top 3. You could probably argue a top 3 card ever in Dragon Ball Heroes. In the 13 years of the game, this is probably a top 3 card ever released in terms of how good she was. So we'll see. Probably not going to be as good as that, but we'll see. So Link's telekinesis, more than meets the eye, solid support, cold judgment, master of magic, godly power, and fierce battle. Okay. Not exactly great. All right. Ios's grand mission. Attack plus 120, attack and defense plus 120%. No key, huh? Which is actually probably going to be a problem with these links. Plus an additional defense plus 120% when receiving an attack. Plus an additional defense plus 120% if there's another crossover category ally attacking in the same turn and when receiving an attack. Oh no, okay, no, this is worded weirdly. Plus an additional defense plus 120% if there's another crossover category ally attacking in the same turn and when receiving an attack, plus an additional defense plus 120%. Okay. So I think the way this works is this is obviously start of turn, this is start of turn, but then these two 120% are multiplicative because they're both when receiving an attack. So, interesting. All enemies attack and defense minus 24% and medium chance of stunning all enemies at the start of turn. Okay, we're doing this, huh? This is going to be like a super battle road character. High chance of evading enemies' attacks. Okay, 50% chance to dodge. Plus an additional chance of evading enemies' attacks. Plus 10% within the same turn. And an additional attack plus 60% up to 240 with each attack evaded. So they really want you to put her in slot 1. Getting attack when you evade is pretty bad. Am I crazy? Isn't getting attack when you evade like really bad? Because that means you, number 1, have to put them in slot 1. Number 2, you have to hope the opponent is attacking a lot right away. The reason why defense after evading is so much better is because obviously if you're attacking first, even if you're getting attacked like 5 times after you attack, like the dodging building up your defense is still going to be effective because there's a chance you can still get hit after that. You can't attack after you've already attacked. Right? So this seems like a very big design flaw already here. Getting attack when you evade sounds like a terrible mechanic to me. All allies key plus 2 and attack and defense plus 40%, plus an additional key plus 1, attack and defense plus 24% for crossover category characters. That's a lot. 64% support for crossover. Recovers 24% HP at the end of the turn in which an attack was received. So they're really telling you to put this character in slot 1. No, she has no guard, no damage reduction, just straight up defense and then dodge. And she starts at 50% dodge. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think this character is gonna be very good. Unfortunately. This multiplicative defense should be nice, on top of the fact that she's getting 240 at the beginning, but This mechanic is very weird to me. Realm of Gods, Patara, time travel, yeah. Raise attack and defense for 1 turn. Supreme damage and seals. Not a huge fan. Alright, we got Dark King Demigra, Power of Time Unleashed. We did just get the EZA for the Michikabura character, who should work pretty well next to this guy. I think they should have a lot of the same links. Brainiacs, Big Bad Bosses, Revival, Master of Magic, Godly Power, Fear and Faith, Fierce Battle. Yeah, not a terrible link set, actually. Is this full passive here? Yeah, this is full passive, okay. So True Power of the Dark Factor. Key +2 and attack and defense plus 240%. That's a lot, okay. Plus an additional attack and defense plus 120% performing a super attack. High chance of performing a crit. Reduce damage received by 40%. Okay, pretty basic, but pretty good like base here. Plus an additional damage reduction of 20% when there's another crossover or demonic power category ally attacking in the same turn. Okay, now we're talking, because now we're like, okay, we can run this character next to Slug and he's gonna be good. Or even just like any demonic power. Like the fact that they're restricting him to not just like crossover opens up the doors a lot for this character, which is really good. Plus an additional damage reduction of 20% before attacking when all allies attacking in the same turn are extreme class. So he has 80% damage reduction in slot 1 if you have a full extreme class rotation with crossover or demonic power. So you just run this guy on like the Slug team, and he's got 80% damage reduction before attacking in slot 1. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Plus an additional attack plus 40% with each attack received, up to 240. That, he's going to be looking, I mean, so 240 start a turn. We got a multiplicative 120 and then another multiplicative up to 240. Plus an additional attack and defense plus 120% as the first attacker in a turn. Extreme class allies attack plus 60% and chance of performing a critical hit plus 24% as the second or third attacker in a turn. So he's supporting as the second or third attacker. So as in slot 1. In slot 1, he has a start of turn 360% attack and defense. Then when he attacks, he's getting a multiplicative 120 and up to a multiplicative 240% attack. I feel like he's going to be hitting pretty hard. Now, the one thing about this character is he doesn't do any additionals, which is probably why they felt comfortable giving him this much multiplicative attack buffs. So he's going to be doing one attack, but it's going to be like very strong. This guy's probably going to be hitting like, I can't do this in my head. What are his stats? Not crazy. I mean, he's going to be like, what, 14,000-ish? I mean, he probably is going to be hitting above like 25 million, I would imagine. We'll see. He's got Big Bad Bosses. He's got the domain from Slug going to be active. We'll see. I mean, he's got a lot of damage reduction. Probably could be pretty effective in slot 1. We will see. This is a character that could benefit from like every hidden potential system ability, right? Oh no, he has high chance of performing a crit here, so you don't need to give him crit actually. You probably... What's the super attack effect? Greatly raise attack for 1 turn and causes supreme damage. Extreme class allies defense plus 30% for 1 turn. Oh, self-excluded. Damn, why'd they put self-exclude? That, you know how insane this is? Oh man. No. They really thought he would have been too good to just include that for himself. I mean, that's still good for the rest of the rotation. Like, imagine Slug in slot 2 with this buff. I think additional could be pretty decent, but I don't know. Because the thing with this is, like, you're going to be missing out on some stacks here if you go dodge, but dodge is probably still what you want to do here. Because if he's going to be in slot 1, he's going to be a competent slot 1 character, but anytime you have a slot 1 character, typically dodge is what you want to go. So I'm probably going to go dodging additional on this character. Pretty standard. I mean, defense, raw defense could be pretty good too, just because of all the damage reduction he has. Okay, this guy seems pretty interesting to me, actually, this Demigra. All right, then this is the final summonable character here. We got the Warrior in Black Super Saiyan Dark Dragon Ball Boost. All right, we got Saiyan Warrior Race, Super Saiyan, Experienced Fighter, Saiyan Lineage, Saiyan Pride, Perfect Battle, Fierce Battle. Okay, so it's like a pretty, standard Saiyan build or link set here. Boost received through the Dark Dragon Balls. Key +2, attack and defense 150%, medium chance performing a crit, plus an additional attack and defense plus 100% when attacking. Plus an additional attack plus 100%, 150%, and chance performing a critical hit plus 30% when attacking. The target enemy's HP is 70% or less. Another 150% and another 30% chance to crit when attacking. The target enemy's HP is 40% or less. Yeah, I don't know if I'm a huge fan of those mechanics. I mean, it's just offense anyway. That's going to be a lot of attack. These are all multiplicative. 150, 150, that's 450%. No, it's 400% multiplicative attack. Okay. Plus an additional attack plus 50% and launches an additional super attack when the target enemy is in attack down status or in defense down status, stunned, or the target enemy's super attack is sealed. Reduce damage received by 40%, just and then plus an additional damage reduction of 15% within the same turn before attacking an enemy whose HP is 70% or less. Okay. Plus an additional damage reduction of 15% within the same turn before attacking an enemy whose HP is... What are all these conditions? Plus an additional attack and defense plus 100% and launches an additional super attack for the rest of battle, delivering a final... Oh my god, he's terrible. What? Who made this? What? This is like this year's version of the who is it? It was like Controlled Berserker Vegeta last year, who's kind of had like a similar build to this character. What is that? Like, this is like compare this to this guy. This guy, like, what the hell? Okay. Super attack effect is greatly raised attack and defense for 1 turn. Supreme damage greatly lowers attack and defense. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and say no. So there we go. We talked about Goku here. We talked about Fu, Ios, Demigra, and Warrior in Black. I think this guy and Ios seem like the least impressive to me. Ios at least seems a little bit more competent than the Warrior. The Warrior in Black is probably like an outlier here and probably like just by far the worst one on here. Demigra seems interesting to me. This guy seems pretty interesting to me because he's not... The thing with this character is he's not being restricted to being ran solely on crossover. You can run him on like Slug's team. He'll be good. That's the most important thing for me. Seems like he'll be a relatively competent slot 1 unit. He's supporting the team. He's giving defense. He can be a decent slot 1 character. He's got 80% damage reduction, assuming you have the full conditions active, which on Slug's team you will have active. You'll have the domain up for him. He's got big bad bosses, so he seems like a pretty good character for that team. Fu seems like he'll be interesting. This guy is restricted, right, to crossover time. Yeah, crossover time travelers. He seems like he'll just be like a good filler slot 2 or slot 3 character. That's, all about right. For right now, all I can say about him before I see him in action. Goku, he has a few issues that I'm seeing right away. The biggest ones are the fact that let me just see here. Remember what we talked about. He is restricted to the crossover, having a character with the Zeno name on the team. The fact that he has a 70, like, here's the biggest problem I have with this character. He, number one, a lot of his attack is going to be restricted behind him getting certain key spheres, which is not going to be super tough considering he's an orb changer, but the fact that he's a type orb changer can make it more difficult. Like, a lot of times what will happen with a type orb changer is they'll change some of the orbs, but they're going to be in an area on the field where they're just inaccessible to you because it's not rainbow. Like, if this guy's a rainbow orb changer, it would make things a lot easier, but I don't think getting 7 key spheres is going to be like super mega consistent every single time, but like a similar comparison we can make is to like STR Kefla has a similar thing here. The biggest problem I have with this Goku though is the fact that he has damage reduction, but the damage reduction is contingent upon him guarding, but the guard is 70%. I don't know why they made it 70% here. That is the biggest problem I have with this character. So if you don't think about this, because it's a double whammy. You don't get you fail the 70% chance to get guard active. He's no longer going to have the damage reduction active. So like if you fail the guard, you've already failed the damage reduction. So that's why I don't like this. He's going to have a major variance in performance because of that. So I don't know. We'll see. He seems like again, you get the guard active, he seems like he'll be a really good unit, to be honest. We'll see. But you don't get the guard active, he's kind of just like, well, I guess we'll just jump back in. So there we go. Those are the 5 new summonable heroes characters. Let me know what you guys think. Which one are you looking forward to the most? And I will see you in the next.